You are listening to Claret Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live. Hello, welcome back to the Claret Blue podcast. My name is Dan Rolinson, and as you're watching this video, I've been given a couple of weeks off work, so I'm probably sat around watching Netflix in my pants. So to make sure your podcast feed is still getting regular content from us during my time off, I've put together a short compilation of some of the funniest stories from our interview guests that we've had on the podcast. So first up is going to be Barry Bannon talking about excrement in a football boot.
Of all the pranks that you've seen either at Villa or any other clubs in your career, Barry, what stands out the most?
There's been a few. Obviously, there was a few characters at that club, but the one that stands out is when I was in the reserve team. There was the boy called Jonathan Hogg, and I think Sam Simmons at the time was coming through the youth. And Sam Simmons done something to Hoggy, played a prank on him. I can't really remember what it was, and Hoggy didn't take too kind to it. He's an aggressive person, Hoggy. Didn't like getting bantered or anything like that, so just remember him waiting weeks and weeks, and we think that's unusual. Hoggy's normally bites back pretty quick. And then we came in the one morning, I remember we were in for 9 o'clock, and the smell in the changing room was just outrageous. Like, the boys were like, what's going on here? We can't change in here. And we seen Hoggy just sitting in the corner, like chuckling away, like laughing, thinking it was the funniest thing in the world. And he sat next to me, so I just said to him, what have you done? And he says, wait till he comes in and you'll find out. So Sam's came in that day. Same thing, Sam's been hit with a smell right in the face as soon as he's walked in. He's getting changed, and he's opened his locker up, and I think Sam wore the old Umbro XAIs, and Hoggy had obviously took his Umbro XAIs to the toilets a few days before, in both shoes, and just put them in the locker room and left them for a few days. So we just remember that, and it was, the boys were rolling around on the floor when Sam's pulled these boots out. He couldn't believe it.
We were playing at the Forest of Arden, and there was myself, I think there was Crouchy, Gareth, and a pal of mine that used to come golf, and we came off it might have been 14th on one of the holes on the Forest, and you have to go past the house. So we put our shots in, and they were faffing about on the green doing something, and they parked the buggy. And it was like on a slant, because we just used to park them everywhere, and because we thought we could. And we sort of went to the side of the house. I'm sure it was me and Crouch, and we sat just on the buggy, and we must have sat there feeling about an half hours. And I went, where are them two? And it was Gaz, and I think it was Barnesy. And I went, where are they? So we went back, and as we come back through, all I can see is them two stood there trying to pull this buggy out of the ditch where it's gone straight down, and you can just see the roof hanging out the top. Well, we have literally keeled over laughing. I mean, it was the funniest thing I've seen. But next week, we go in. I've told the course marshal. We goes in, and then it's in the paper that because I'm the member there, I've crashed the buggy. Which was, what I can assure you, it wasn't me. I was sat on that next tee waiting for them clowns to come through, and I ended up getting all the press headlines. But that was just that reputation that seemed to follow me. And listen, I'm not saying I was any angel by any stretch, but anything that went wrong, my name would come straight to the forefront.
I can't believe you're sticking to that story all these years on,
I remember when Lambert come in, and we had a kid called Claret Blue. He was Swedish. He didn't speak much English. If you're in the youth team, you'd have to take your kit down to the laundry room, and if you were in a reserve team, you put it in the bucket and take it to the laundry room. And if you're in the first team, they come and get it. But Paul Lambert used to be in the laundry room because there was a dartboard in there, and he used to play with Chef and Jonah. And I remember Khaled walking down there with his kit and passing the kit to Paul Lambert, and then like turning around and walking out. And I think Khaled thought that Paul Lambert was one of the kit men. He didn't know that he was a manager of the football club. It was one of his first weeks, so he just literally dropped his kit to Paul Lambert's hands, and he just walked off and said cheers. And Paul Lambert's got hold of Claret Blue's kit, and even Paul Lambert was so confused. He come in and had a massive meeting with us and let Khaled know that he's the manager of this football club.
Wee Jim was really nippy with me, as I say in Scotland, nippy. That means he was always chipping at me at training, and I'm saying, what's going on? We've got a massive game tomorrow, and he's having a go at me. And then at the end of training, he went, right, where are you going? I said, well, where I always go when we play Rangers or Celtic, I'm going back to my mum's in Glasgow. Well, make sure you're there. I'm thinking, well, where else would I be? We've got a massive game against Celtic tomorrow. I ain't going to be anywhere else. Right, make sure you're there. Well, okay. So I drove down to my mum's and I'm thinking, what the hell? Why the hell was a wee man having to go at me like that? So, got home, had a phone call, meet two of the directors at the airport, Glasgow airport, at 5 o'clock. Aston Villa have come in for you and I've agreed to sell you to them. Right? I went, right. I put the phone down and I'm ashamed to say this. I thought, where the hell is Aston Villa? Seriously, obviously it's like grown up because Villa had been down in the dumps a lot, hadn't they? They'd only just got their, that was the first season back in the big league. And I'm thinking, I know where Liverpool and Everton and Manchester United and, you know, and Leeds and Newcastle and the London clubs. I said to my mum, I think I'm going to sign for Aston Villa. Can you get me a map? I had to look it up and find out that it was actually in Birmingham. And I thought, all right then, okay. And off I went, travelled down and never came back.
Yeah, I met her mate. I told her I was a painter and decorator when I first met her. So, and she didn't have a clue. She still don't know much about football now, to be honest. So yeah, she obviously believed me for a couple of weeks, and then her brother's a big Villa fan, so he always said that he's Andi Weimann. He's not a painter, and then that's how she found out. To be honest, the day after I met her, I went away with the national team. And I got a number and I was texting her and I had to say, yeah, I'm going away with to Austria, to the nationals. And then she thought I was an international painter or something like that. So she was telling her brother, I think, and showed her a WhatsApp picture. But yeah, I started speaking to him the last couple of weeks and then he obviously recognised me straight away. And then she asked me and I was like, yeah, I play football.
That's brilliant. You any good at painting?
No, I've never done any painting in my life.
Oh my God, Sasha. God love him. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Sasha was brilliant. I mean, I remember when he turned up, his first training session, he jumped up and down, dribbled past a couple of people and stood there and went, how much I pay for him? And he stood there and went, £4 million. And I thought, oh no, don't do that. And I remember looking at Tommy Johnson and Mark Draper and Tails and them who were the best of pals. And Sasha, it looked as if he was coming in to try and be a real threat to Tommy. So I remember thinking, oh God, they're going to have him. And I thought that's Sasha got off on the wrong foot straight away. Anyway, as the season progressed, we always had a few problems with him here and there. And then I remember Jim Walker, who was my number one go-to man for the players. If anything was wrong, if they felt ill or anything, ring Jim, he'll sort it out. So I get a call, I don't know, middle of the night, might have been midnight, might have been 2 a.m, I can't remember, but I've been well asleep, and it's Jim. So I've looked at my phone, oh, Jim, better take it. Hi, Jim, all right? Not really, for now. I said, what's up, Jim? He said, it's Sasha. I said, he's all right, isn't he? He was all right this morning. Yeah, he's in London. I said, London? What's he doing in London? And Jim got these next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words out as quick as he could and put the phone down. And he's in London, he's having a nose job in the morning and he can't play tomorrow. Boom, put the phone down. So he's gone to London, he's decided to have a new nose and he wasn't available. And I found out after that he wasn't available for 8 weeks. He couldn't play for 8 weeks after he's had a nose job.
When you say Peace Cup, the smile come on my face because it's the best stag-do I've ever been on. And that's the God's honest truth. I'm on a Villa podcast. So I'm not at the club anymore. I can be totally honest. But considering we went there, right, and we're playing against top sides, we're playing against top European sides, and Real Madrid are in the competition, and Sevilla, and all these clubs are in the competition. But we were there, I think, for maybe 12 days. I think I must have gone out myself about 8 times out of 12. I think maybe a couple of others, probably Karoo, I think might have top 10. But the thing is, it's because we were given the thing of, oh well, go out for the day, enjoy yourself. You got a free afternoon. So obviously we're in Marbella, so we're going to Ocean Club or going to Plaza Beach and have a beer, have a beer. Yeah, go on, have one, have 2. It turns into 5 or 6, and you're going back. It's like, oh no, I'll be all right. I'll be all right for training tomorrow. You train, and then the game comes up, and you play a game, you end up winning. And you're like, oh, all right, we've cracked it. So you got another game in a couple of days. Like, well, we might as well do the same again. Should we just go down Plaza Beach? And that's how it was. It was kind of like, if we hadn't got the results or we'd been battered, lads would have been like, no, we can't do that. But because we like, I know we lost the first game, but Ash scored a late goal to see us through and actually got us to the semi-final and things like that. But it was just like before, but I think that it might have even been a day of Porto. We got a free afternoon and we were just on the beach and just like having a few beers. It's like, we're going to get battered anyway by Porto. So what's the point? We end up beating them. And then, but that's how it was. Honestly, it was such a good laugh. And in terms of team morale and team building, in terms of trying to sneak out of that hotel, that was the best thing. There were times where we were allowed out and other times we weren't, but we were going out anyway. I remember we all said, right, meet by the back door, back fire exit. We'll go out the car park and go out that bit and we'll get taxis to pick us up from there. So I just remember we went in, like, so we got a couple of the young lads with us, like Shane Lowry, who at the time was a kid, shouldn't really have been coming out with us. But like we get in this taxi and then the taxi starts driving towards the front of the hotel. I'm thinking, like, why is he driving? He might just be like turning around. I don't know what he's doing. Driving towards the front of the hotel. He pulls up to the front of the hotel. I'm in the front. I think I was with Steve Sidwell and Freddie Boomer and Shane Lowry. And this he winds down the window, my window, because they're driving on the left-hand side. It says, talks in Spanish to the cab coordinator. And who starts walking to the car? It's Martin. So I had like a tissue or a towel or something because it was sweating. Obviously, we like all sneaking through the back. So I was just trying to dab my face and like trying to hide. And then I just remember in the back, Freddie Boomer was like literally sat in the footwell, even though there's three of them in the back. Shane Lowry's thinking, oh, my Villa career's done. And Siddy's the same, you know. But I'm right in the front. I couldn't really hide. So I just tried to play it off like I hadn't seen him. I'm not seeing him. And he must have seen me. He must have seen me. Like, there's no way he didn't see me. But the cabbie's eventually driven off and we've gone through the night and we're like, how do you get away with that, lads? But thinking, no, he's going to know tomorrow. And luckily, he didn't say anything. And then obviously, I just think personally, because we won and then we won again, obviously, to win the final. I don't think he ever brought it up, but I think it would have been a great thing to batter us with if we'd lost. I think he pocketed it, but fortunately for us, it didn't come back up. But it was just I just remember seeing Freddie Boomer's face, and he was just shouting at the cab driver, "Why are you driving here?" Like swearing at him. It was like, but it was just funny now. But at the time, it's like my heart had sunk right down to my stomach. But yeah, it was again even more reason why it's such a good trip.
First day I went to the training ground, Jim Paul, kit man, bless his heart, God bless him. I loved Jim to bits, mate. I loved him to bits. He come up to me, he said, "Oh, come down." He said, I've got all your gear. So I went down his office and he gave me like 3 black bin liners full of kit, just absolutely rammed full of shirts and sweaters and training shoes and boots and God knows what else. And then he said, "Do you want a yogurt?" And he pointed across to me. There was like about 30 trays of these Muller yoghurts. You know, he said, do you want any of these? He said, "Take a few home." You know, so within a couple of weeks, I actually bought another fridge from my garage because I was just taking home. And we had a queue at our front door, you know, my son was coming over, my daughter was coming, and next door neighbours all coming to pick up. I was taking orders, you know, they're saying, "Oh, we've had enough of that banana yogurt. Can't you bring us some of the chocolate ones?" You know, so we had Muller yogurts everywhere, like Del Boy's, you know, like Del Boy's flat. House. You lift up a cushion on the sofa, there was like half a dozen Muller yogurts.
Can you remember when Martin and Reo-Coher had that little spat at the training ground? What happened there, Stan?
Yeah, I did remember. We were doing 11-a-side. We were doing a tactical session. We was always playing, so Martin was giving different messages. And I remember that they were in the middle, and I think Nigel misplaced the pass. I think they started verbally to talk against each other and saying things. And all of a sudden, in a space of a seconds, they just squared each other. Nigel's preparing for a fight. Gaffer's fists were up here. Everybody was laughing. I just couldn't stop laughing. You could hear Nigel just jumping around and Gaffer just getting his position ready to strike. And it was really funny. It was something that we see all the time. Obviously, they both were very strong characters. They both had a strong opinion. We made them more as a fun. I think Nigel got punished quite for a few games, I think. But in general, we took as a joke, and we just tried to make sure that everything was okay after. We still joke with Nigel since today. He don't like it, but that's not a problem. That's his problem. Let him deal with it. And we loved it. And we'll never forget it.
When I retired, my missus said to me, you've been asked to do a modelling job. And I'm thinking, Airfix, okay, fine. And then I said, is it balaclavas? And she said, no. She said, we've got a job with Land Rover. They're doing a Born Free campaign, and you've just got to go there and pretend, rah and whatever, and that's it. Anyway, so when we got there, they've gone, right, makeup. I'm looking at my missus going, you what? Makeup? They only painted us as lions, right? So I'm now not happy. I thought it was an easy gig, earn a couple of quid, hide behind the good-looking ones, and I can sort of walk away and get my money. So the photographer's there, and we're all, my two little ones at the time, painted. They're loving it. They're getting it. So he's going, after 3, rah, and I'm going, rah. And my missus, you could just say that, you could show a bit more enthusiasm. I went, you're kidding me, aren't you? So anyway, got that done. I can hear the sniggers in the background from what I'm doing. I've got in my car. I'm fuming now because I was going on to another gig. So I didn't even wash the lion stuff off my face. So I'm piling down the motorway, and I've gone through 2 speed cameras because I'm just oblivious to what's going on. About a month, 2 months later, I've got a speed thing coming through. I'm thinking, I can't remember when that would be. So I said to her, I said, look, because also I was on about 9 points. I thought, oh, I'm going to get done here. So I said to her, I said, were you driving my car that day? She says, I don't know. I said, look, I don't want to say you were and you weren't. I said, we'll go and ask for the official photographs. But 2 weeks later, photos come on. Big head of a lion. It's me. So I had to go to court because it took me above the allotted time. I can hear the giggles from the people looking at the photos about me dressed as a lion, painted as a lion. I think they felt so sorry for me, thinking, oh, life must have been so tough for this lad. If he was a professional footballer, he's got to do this for a living now, we'll just let him off. And they gave me I got a suspended ban. Oh, dear.
Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then, up the Villa.